Buckball has caught on as Equestria's national sport so well, Appaloosa has built a Hall of Fame for its 2-year origin. At the opening tournament, Rainbow Dash bumps into her convention buddy, Quibblepants, who is now in a relationship with Clear Sky, a fan of the sport, along with her daughter, Windsprint. In order to win over the daughter, Quibble, a non-sports fan, requires the help of Rainbow Dash to get on her good side. Hello everyone, and welcome back to At the Screening. I'm the voice of reason.
I'm Elsa. I'm Cassandra.
One of a select few well-known sports fans in the Bronydom.
And I'm Thespio, possibly the worst pony to talk about a sports episode with. I wish this was the episode that aired while I was away at BabsCon. This would have been practically gift-wrapped for you and Nikki V.
Well, think of it as art imitating reality. One a sports fan, the other not.
Oh, so if I'm Quibblepants in this scenario, I'm automatically the funnier one.
Well, that would involve epic failing at every point, so yeah, I'd say pretty accurate.
Wow, love you too, boys.
I could watch them do this all day.
But yes, Patton Oswalt is back to reprise his role as Quibblepants in this week's episode, Common Ground. But he's not alone. Joining alongside Patton is his wife, Meredith Salinger, hope I'm pronouncing that right, as Clear Sky, and their daughter, Alice Oswald, as Windsprint. Already with this setup alone, this was a very personal episode for Patton. For those not in the know, back in 2016, Patton Oswalt's first wife and Alice's mom, Michelle McNamara, died suddenly in her sleep at age 46 due to a combination of prescription medications and an undiagnosed heart condition. He later remarried in 2017, and even as they grieved, he said Meredith and Alice managed to form their own special bond. And with Alice already being a huge fan of My Little Pony, it made sense that this family would be given the opportunity to record for the show and tell this very special story. I've always applauded the show for not straying away from sensitive topics when it comes to familial relationships. We've had Surf and or Turf show metaphors to divorced families, and technically even The Perfect Pair had its own thing about deceased parents amongst the whole Romeo and Juliet plotline. Here, Common Ground touches upon the concept of step-parents, and I think they pulled it off pretty well here.
Yeah, if you pay close attention to the dialogue, there's an emphasis on the word was when referring to Windsprint's father, such as, he was a great athlete, or he was a great flyer. The idea of bringing in someone new to the family, specifically a new parent or spouse, is tricky, especially when there are children involved. I've experienced this myself with divorce when my mom started dating my current stepdad. It was, I'll admit, awkward at first. Even though I was about to graduate college, I know I would only have one father. But as I got to know him more, as does Windsprint in the episode, albeit not as embarrassing, he made my mom happy. While I didn't get the talk Clear Sky gave to her daughter, I understood the happiness my eventual stepdad delivered to my mom, and now we get along very well. It also helps he's a massive nerd like me, and now he's taken an interest in fantasy sports the past year or so we got that in common.
Well, I'm very glad that's worked out for you so well, boys. That's very sweet to hear. I personally never had step-parents myself, but I do understand it is a difficult process to go through for some people. And we see that reflect in these characters pretty well. Now, one thing I will mention while watching this, I was actually almost ready to call this a retread of Simple Ways. But while Simple Ways was a lot more comedic above all else, Common Ground felt a lot more, well, grounded, no pun intended. And it treated a topic like this with the respect and care it deserves.
Yeah, I thought that on my second viewing.
Yeah, absolutely. Very fair. But what also separates these two episodes was the nature of their end goals. Rarity was looking more for romance, and her rose-tinted glasses made her turn into an almost completely different pony. While as Quibblepants' relationship with Clear Sky was already well established the moment she came on screen, and he wasn't really trying to change who he was as a person, he was more trying to learn a new interest to try and bond with his possible new stepdaughter. While I still enjoyed both episodes despite any and all similarities, there is a distinct difference between how they were executed if you really think about it.
For one, lack of ham. Although the episode is still pretty funny. The training session with Quibble and Dash gets a bundle of laughs out of me. Clearly Quibble put all of his stats into charisma and intelligence and none into strength and dexterity. In addition, I think both of us can agree, as we come from both sides of the playing field, this is exactly the kind of conversation that our Brony group has when a more athletically savvy pony brings up sports.
I could watch them do this all day.
So accurate?
Yeah, pretty much on the nose.
How does football work again? Is it anything like drift racing? I think there are some foods.
Now, there are a couple of criticisms we have. One of the more glaring is the Hall of Fame itself. So, Buckball became an overnight sensation, sweeping Equestria, and within 2 years, it has a Hall of Fame and inductees who are still active. Hall of Fames do not work that way.
I could watch them do this all day.
Unless you're WWE.
Well, Voice, you do have to remember, how one measures time in Equestria isn't really too well established. If I may quote Silverquill, Equestria's timeline looks more like this. Just be thankful they didn't use any other vague terms like moons again, because I don't think anyone knows what kind of time units they mean when they say that. But aside from that, the only other quote-unquote complaint I want to bring up is Clear Sky herself. Not so much her character or performance or even design, but more so her name. Clear Sky isn't a bad name, far from it. But didn't we have a whole Abbott and Costello-like moment back in Tanks for the Memories where we meet a pony named Clear Skies? What, just because you make your name plural, you're automatically a different pony? What, does that mean there are other ponies out there named Thespians, or Voices of Reasons, or Applejacks, or something?
Oh, could be. Also, quick thing about Windsprint, as this is one of the more forgivable criticisms, Alice Oswald came across as a little flat, but overall not too bad. Her performance is still adorable, in particular when she meets professional Hall of Fame inductees. Yeah, still not letting that one go. But overall, Common Ground was a solid episode. It has cute relationships, good humor, and a nice reflection of art inspiration from reality. Clearly in more ways than one.
Couldn't agree with you more. Very sweet, very subtle, and hey, even Rainbow Dash was great. You know, despite her being my least favorite of the main six, I always appreciate it when she tries to inspire others to work past their faults without being utterly cocky about it, such as in Hurricane Fluttershy and Flight to the Finish, among others. Definitely a hooves up from each of us.
Well, this was honestly a nice early Mother's Day present. But next time, we're jumping ahead to prom season as the Student 6 get to experience their first pony dance in She's All Yak. As always, thanks for stopping by the balcony for this episode of At the Screening.